Well, it's that time of the year again. Basketball playoffs. High school is starting right now, March Madness is around the corner, and the NBA is holding off till April, unfortunately. So why not make a 3-part series of prediction videos predicting the brackets of each level? Cool, let's go. Having seen over half these teams in person and huddle highlights of all the others, I can safely say that Wisconsin D3 basketball is a bit like the Western Conference right now. Completely loaded and super competitive. So much so that this bracket seems a little overwhelming. Seriously, the sheer amount of close matchups and battles that will go down in this postseason is absolutely wild. So let's start off easy and knock out every first round matchup. First up is 9-seeded Dodgeville versus 8-seeded Mouston. This is a non-conference matchup that puts what's honestly two below mid squads up against each other, kinda like Trailblazers versus Bulls. I got Mouston winning this one with their better record and home court advantage. Next up is 5-seeded Prairie du Chien versus 12-seeded Evansville. Yeah, Evansville is going to need a miracle to win this. Next. 11-seeded Richland Center travels to take on 6-seeded Viroqua. Just like Evansville, Richland Center will be sent home in disgrace. Then, 10-seeded Edgewood takes on 7-seeded River Valley. This is where the first upset takes place. I can see Edgewood knocking out River Valley if they can figure out their defense and keep their signature efficiency but medium-paced offense cooking. This is telling in both of their matchups against 1-seeded Lakeside Lutheran. Both teams lost that game, but where River Valley got blown up by 20 by Lakeside, Edgewood escaped with only a 6-point deficit. So if they keep their defense good and up the defense, this will be an extremely close bout either way you look at it, but I'm taking Edgewood. Next up is 8-seeded Lomira against 9-seeded Bigfoot. If both teams were healthy, despite the record differences, I would have Bigfoot walking away with not only a dub, but a 10 to 15 point lead, since their specialty is flipping the switch in the playoffs. However, without their two best players going into an away game, I got Lomira taking this first round matchup. If this were a 7-game series, with the current rosters, I think Bigfoot would have a chance to push it to 5 or 6, but with the way the rosters are, Lomira has a slight edge here. Unrelated news, did you hear the Lakers acquired Spencer Dinwiddie from the buyout market? Next up, we got Turner and Mayville in another one-sided 5-12 matchup. Turner does only have a slightly above-average offense in my opinion, but they couple it with suffocating defense that when applied to a lottery team, no question, Turner wins 67-42, calling it. 11-seed East Troy then faces 6-seed Watertown Luther Prep. And the WIA should probably be investigated for cruel and unusual punishment, because this is going to be Celtics versus Nets on Valentine's Day. If you know, you know. Then 7-seed Columbus takes on number 10 Clinton in another upset. The Cougars walk deep diving into their schedules. That 500 record the Cardinals have is almost due entirely to an easier schedule. Clinton actually performs better in conference play than Columbus, and I think that difference in competitive nature will definitely show in the playoffs. Alright, these first rounders are dragging on a little bit, so let's knock them out fast and quick like a sudden death overtime period. 9-seed University of Milwaukee wins their game, as well as 5-seeded Oostburg's Flying Dutchman knocking off the Crusaders. Then Common Northwest hunts down the Brown Deer Falcons. Soon after, Kettle Moraine Lutheran blows out, however you pronounce that, followed by Sheboygan Falls with an upset. Then, Battle of the Saints ends with Anthony victorious. Milwaukee North then warms up against Mesmer? Question mark? Then Mia prevails over Costa Ray. Did you get all that? Well, now it's second round time. I feel bad for Mouston because Platteville is going to walk all over them like they're a JV2 squad. I don't think much more info is needed. Staying in the upper left, Lodi gets past Prairie du Chien in a hard-fought game where they will move on to the next round but lose to Platteville, locking the Hillmen into the Elite 8. Going down one more regional bracket, we find that Wisconsin Dells will take on the 6th seed, and win with relative ease. Next, Edgewood's luck runs out and will be bounced by number 2 seed New Glarus, only to then be bounced by Wisconsin Dells. locking in Wisconsin's best vacation hotspot into the Elite 8 as well. Going up and across, we get 1-seeded Dominican going up against 9-seeded University of Milwaukee, and this game will never be close. Worst case scenario, Dominican will be up 30 by halftime. Having seen this team in person, their offense will be a nightmare for any defense to figure out. Compounded with the fact that in a 26-game season, they scored 100 or more points, and 12 of them with the highest at 132. Yikes. Oostburg will beat Carmen North, but it won't matter. Dominican's locking into the Elite 8. Down one more regional bracket, Brookfield Academy will dispatch Kelmarine Lutheran and Sheboygan Falls. Or, never mind. They will dispatch Kelmarine Lutheran, then Sheboygan Falls will lose to Lake Country Lutheran, who will then go on to eliminate Brookfield, locking themselves into the Elite 8. Mouthful. If we keep going down regional brackets, St. Anthony will fall to St. Thomas More, Milwaukee North defeats Racine Catherine in an upset with Milwaukee North, then losing to St. Thomas More, locking St. Thomas into the Elite 8. Down one more regional bracket, ADB Tech bounces out Mia, and Milwaukee Academy of Science bounces out Shoalen Lutheran, and ADB Tech in a row for Milwaukee Academy of Science to advance to the Elite 8. Finishing the rest of the regional brackets, despite the season-long sweep, I predict Edgerton will edge out Turner in this game, and Lakeside Lutheran will make quick work of Lomira, only to lose again to Edgerton, locking Edgerton into the Elite 8. The final regional round will see the 6-seed Watertown Luther Prep defeat the 3-seeded Wapoon in an upset, and the Clinton Undercats dropping off Lake Mills. How, you may ask? Well, Lake Mills has a bad habit of dropping their offensive production in second halves, a pattern that held true for most of the season, regardless of home away win or loss. Looking at their win against Poynette, for example, 66-48, and their loss against Lakeside Lutheran, 60-61, in both games, over half their points were scored in the first half, 37 and 38 respectively. Either they take less shots, or let me try that again. Either they take less shots or efficiency drops, I don't know. But what I do know is Clinton has a habit of rallying in second halves, and they completely transform their defensive schemes mid-season to become a threat to most offenses. So while it sounds crazy, the L-Cats are going to take an L. Give me the Cougars. Then once Clinton defeats Waterloo for Prep, they will lock in to become the final Elite 8 member. Now here's how the Elite 8 and Final 4 will go from here. Dominican and Lake Country Lutheran are going to slug it out, but I think Dominican's fast-paced, rapid-fire offense is just going to be too much for them. St. Thomas More will bounce out Milwaukee Academy of Science, and between Dominican and St. Thomas, I got St. Thomas winning this one. St. Thomas went undefeated against Dominican in the regular season. Not even close. Next, Wisconsin Dells takes on Platteville, and Platteville wins this one. Edgerton against Clinton. Edgerton went undefeated against Clinton in the regular season, and I expect that 2-0 sweep to become a 3-0 sweep. Sorry, Cougars. Edgerton will go on to face Platteville and lose, meaning it's Platteville and St. Thomas at state. Who do I think will win? St. Thomas More will be your Wisconsin D3 basketball champions of 2024.